Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the So Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Nike Lebron 18 Low. So this shoe is quite expensive. It's going for 160 bucks, but it's a lot cheaper than the actual signature shoe, the Lebron 18, which is $200. So it's $40 cheaper than the actual Lebron 18, which is actually a significant amount of money. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. And let's get it started off with the tracciones, right? So as far as the traction pattern goes, it's pretty much identical to the Lebron 18. It's just here in the forefoot, we have a little bit of like it kind of looks like you stepped on gum, you know what I'm saying? Especially with this pink color in this colorway. But like this square pattern here in the forefoot, and then this square pattern here in the midfoot and here in the heel is pretty much the same. And how does it perform? It performs actually very, very well. Just like the Lebron 18. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit better than the actual Lebron 18 because in the Lebron 18, it would slide out just a little bit sometimes. Like on hard lateral movements, but in the Lebron 18 Low, I had no issues with that actually. So I mean, it was just a very, very consistent stop overall, very hard stop as well. It's just, of course, if you're gonna play outside, just don't play with the shoe outside because first of all, it's super expensive, so you wouldn't want to ruin an expensive shoe on the outdoor court. And second, it's not a durable outsole either. You know, as you guys can see, the rubber is very, very thin. I mean, like, I don't know why they make the tread so thin, but it is. And it's just a super soft rubber as well overall, so do not play with this outdoors at all. I'm also a little scared on the indoor court, you know. I mean, it should be fine on the indoor court, but you know, there's some shoes that even if you're playing on an indoor court, it like frays off sometimes, so just be wary of that. But I didn't really test this shoe on an indoor court, I'm just speculating right now. But overall, it was a really good traction pattern for me on the outdoor court. Alright, moving on to the heel to toe transition. It's super smooth in the shoe. I actually really like it. So here in the heel, we have a little bit of a curved shape, but that's not the only thing. Like, you guys can see this crazy Air Max unit here in the heel. It compresses like crazy. So it's just super smooth here in the heel. You know, when you're doing heel dominant strides and going down the court, it's just very smooth here in the heel. And then here in the forefoot, as you guys can see, this curved shape is just extremely curved. So if you put a little bit of weight here into the toe, it just kind of like rocks forward and just gives you this really nice rocking motion from heel to toe. And you have a little bit of forefoot flex. You know, I would say it's a little bit stiffer than average, but under the weight of your body, it flexes a little bit more and a little bit easier. So heel to toe transition is super smooth. All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. So the cushioning setup is very crazy, you know, not as crazy as the Lebron 18, but still really, really crazy, right? So they're using React, and the React feels super nice. They're saying it's full length, and as you guys know, I love React. It's such a nice compound. It's super light, but also very soft and very bouncy, you know, has a very quick rebound back for a foam. So here in the forefoot, it feels incredibly nice, and you can feel it pretty much right underneath your foot. It's super soft. I wouldn't say it's super bouncy though. You know, I just felt a little bit of compression in the forefoot. Here in the heel, you can't really feel the React, although it is full length React, because I mean, as you guys can see, the React is probably really thin. And of course, you have this Air Max unit, which is pretty much bottom loaded. So as you guys know, Air Max isn't my favorite type of cushion. It's overall like there's a lot of compression. It's a little unstable, and I guess like impact protection is good and it gives you a little bit of bounce, I would say. But overall, I mean, it's not worth kind of like the cons that you get from this Air Max unit, right? So like for example, like a zoom unit, like a full length zoom strobo unit, you know, your foot is right on top of that zoom and you can feel your foot actually compress the zoom unit, right? But Air Max, they've never really done that. You know, Air Max is just like this unit, and there's a little bit of plastic on top of that, and then React, and then the strobo board, and then the insole, right? So your foot is never going into the Air Max unit. It's just compressing like crazy underneath your foot, which I guess, like, I mean, like, it's nice for some people. I know some people that actually really like the Air Max unit, but for me personally, it's not the best. And also, court feel is never good with a shoe that has Air Max, you know? So court feel is terrible in this shoe. It feels just like the Lebron 18. You're super high up off the ground. But I mean, if you're looking for something like crazy, as far as like you get really good impact protection, you get a lot of compression, it's super soft in the forefoot with the React, then it feels nice. But if you're looking for something that's a lot more responsive and you want to be lower to the ground, then this is not your type of cushion. You know, for me, it's nice. You know, I can definitely see myself playing in it, and I definitely did enjoy the cushioning setup. but it's not an everyday shoe for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wear this shoe every single day just because of how crazy it is. For me, it would just be like once or twice a week. You know, if I feel like it, I'll definitely play in it, you know? So there's the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the materials. So the materials are actually very, very nice. You know, quality wise, not the best, especially for 160 bucks. But here in the toe box, I cannot believe how thin this material is. It's extremely thin, and it stays extremely thin all the way here into the midfoot, and also here into the ankle area, guys. The only type of padding that you get is like this really large Achilles pad here in the heel. But other than that, it's just relatively thin throughout this entire upper. And then for the tongue, it's super thin as well. And you have a little bit of padding, but overall it's just a really, really thin minimal material, which feels great. It conforms to your foot very well, and it's supportive. You know, it doesn't really have all too much stretch to it. And you have a little bit of fuse here around the toe cap, so you get extra added durability if you do toe drags. So on foot, it feels awesome, but not the best for quality. Alright, moving on to the fit. I went true to size and it fits me really well. So lengthwise, I was good to go. Here in the toe box, it's quite snug. I wouldn't say it's like as snug as like the KD13 or the Kyrie 7, which I couldn't even like curl my toes in. Like I can curl my toes just a little bit here in the LeBron 18 lows, but it's still quite snug here in the toe box. And then widthwise, I would say it's slightly narrow. So I mean, it was a great fit for me. If you want a roomier fit or you have a wide foot, I would suggest going up half a size or maybe even a full size. Also, the fit stays pretty much true. You know, like this material, although it doesn't really need any breaking in, but like once you kind of like play in it, you know, like some materials, they stretch out over time. This material didn't really stretch out all too much. So the fit that you get is pretty much the fit that you're going to stay with throughout the lifespan of the shoe. Also, we have some extra eyelets here for the last few eyelets. So if you want the fit to be a little bit tighter, then you can put the laces through this second set of eyelets if you would like. It doesn't do all that much. It only does a little bit, but I guess it's better than nothing if you want a little bit tighter of a fit here in the midfoot area. And also the shoe is pretty damn easy to put on. You know, you have an oversized tongue, which I like. It opens up a lot. And you have a little bit of a heel tab, so you just slide your foot in like a sock and tighten the shoes and you're good to go. All right, moving on to support and lockdown. So as far as lateral containment goes, I really had no issues, right? So here in the forefoot, we actually have this like blue fuse material, and it stiffens up this material here on the lateral side in the forefoot quite a bit. Here in the midfoot and here in the heel, we have this plastic piece that acts as a lateral cage for lateral movements, obviously, and we have an internal TPU heel counter, so lateral containment was really good in the shoe. As for lateral stability, it wasn't the best. You know, like all LeBrons, for some reason, it's not that good because of the Air Max unit, and they just don't add an outrigger. I don't understand why they never add an outrigger in LeBron's shoe. You know what I'm saying? Especially since you're so damn high off the ground. Like for example, the Curry 8. The Curry 8 has very, very good lateral stability, right? It's a low to the ground cushion, so you're more stable. You have a lower center of mass, and you have kind of an outrigger. It's just a really wide base. So let's see which one is wider, right? You guys see how the Curry 8 is a little bit wider? I would say by about like 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters. And not only that, like I keep saying, you're high up off the ground, and this Air Max unit, when you kind of like land on the lateral side here in the heel, it kind of like compresses a lot. So I never really rolled my ankle, but it's just always in the back of my mind where it's just like a little unstable, you know what I'm saying? So just be careful on that. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. I remember it being pretty heavy, right? Yeah, so 13.54 ounces. That's actually kind of light for a LeBron, but it's still on the heavier side of things. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So it's definitely on the heavier side. It's obviously all coming from like all this plastic here in the heel. You know what I'm saying? Like this upper, I don't think is adding a whole lot of weight just because of how minimal it feels. So the shoe definitely feels bottom heavy, but the shoe overall actually feels quite responsive. The only part about the shoe that felt kind of slow to me is the Air Max unit. You know, the Air Max unit compressing a lot did kind of make me feel a little slow. But other than that, like the traction is really nice. The material is supportive, it's thin, the fit is good. I don't have any problems with like my foot kind of like staying inside of the footbed or anything. So, I mean, it's a quite responsive feeling shoe, which is pretty nice. Just keep in mind, it's not the lightest shoe around. All right, as far as ventilation goes, ventilation is good. As far as the airflow goes, yeah, it definitely allows for a little bit of airflow or a good amount of airflow. And like I keep mentioning, the material is super thin, so it doesn't really keep all that heat in. So it's actually quite a cool shoe to play in. All right, moving on to the aesthetics. The aesthetics are okay. You know, I don't like this, like this X thing with like this fuse material, like this blue fuse. I don't really like how that looks, and I also don't really like how the material looks with this grid pattern. I feel like it makes it look a little bit cheaper. But other than that, the overall silhouette looks pretty dope, and then the new colorways that are coming out, like that all black one with like the red accents, looks pretty dope. So this shoe definitely grew on me. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the LeBron 18 Low, how does it perform? It performs pretty damn well. You know, I would say I enjoyed playing it. Will it be in my rotation? Very, very loosely, I would say. You know, like I mentioned before, this cushioning setup is definitely not a cushioning setup where I can play in it like every single day. I see myself picking the shoe up if I really want to play in a very crazy cushioning setup, or I need a lot of impact protection. You know, like everything about this shoe felt nice. You know, the traction, the fit, the materials, the impact protection, and all that felt nice. It's just a few things about the shoe that aren't nice. You know, like the lateral stability, you know, you're high up off the ground and stuff like that. But if you don't mind those things, then the LeBron 18 Low is a great option. But anyways, that about wraps up this review of the LeBron 18 Low. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.